Hello beautiful people and welcome to my kitchen. So I've never filmed a video in here before. This is my first time filming something that's not either in the garden or in the sunroom. So we'll see how it goes. But I harvested a bunch of tomatoes from the garden and I just wanted to take you guys along on how I make my homemade marinara pasta sauce or whatever you want to call it. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I have all my tomatoes that are washed and cored, and then I have some green bell peppers from the garden, some garlic, some onion, and then here I have some herbs from the garden. It's basil, thyme, oregano, and rosemary. I just mix them all together and cut them up. And then I have some leftover ground beef from burgers that we made. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that in, and then just some salt and pepper. And then I have 2 pots going on the stove right now. One, I'm gonna mix all of the yumminess in with the ground beef and some oil and get that started. And then the other one is going to be just a pot of water because we have to boil the tomatoes for about 20-ish seconds just to be able to get the skin off, and then we'll be able to go on to the next step. Okay, so in this pot here, I'm going to add some olive oil. Okay. There we go. I need a refill. There we go. Some olive oil. Go ahead and add everything in. Alright. And this is a lot of onion and peppers. You don't necessarily have to use that many. I don't really have a recipe. I just kind of eyeballed it last time. So I'm eyeballing it this time and hoping that it comes out just as delicious. So we're gonna let that continue to simmer. And then I'm not gonna add the herbs until I add the tomatoes in, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and let this continue to saute on a medium-ish heat. And then we're gonna hop on over to the other burner and then I'll show you what I do with the tomatoes. Okay, so for this part, the water isn't fully boiling yet, but it's fine, it's hot enough. So you're gonna take your cored and washed tomatoes and you're just gonna kind of place them in there for a few seconds until you see the skin starting to peel from them. I'll just start with 4 for now. Kind of wait till you see like the corner starting to peel up, and then you can go ahead and take it out. That's how you know it's ready. And what this does is that when we go to blend it, the skins aren't going to be in the tomatoes. See how this is starting to peel? That's kind of what you're looking for. So I'll just leave it in there for a little bit longer. Alright, so you see how the skin is starting to peel up like that? So we're just going to go ahead and put here. And sometimes they may take a little longer than others depending on the thickness of the skin. That should be fine. Yeah. Alright, and then I'm just going to keep continuing to boil these skins off, and then we'll move on to the next step. So as I was finishing peeling the tomatoes, I quartered them and threw them in the blender. And you might have to do this in batches depending on how many tomatoes you have to use. But basically you just want to cut them up and you just very lightly pulse it. It all depends on how chunky you want your marinara sauce to be. So that's usually about like the consistency that I get to. Okay. And you can feel free to add your salt and pepper now. I like a lot of seasoning. Like, I like to make sure I can taste the various seasonings that I put in something. So I like to use a lot, but just feel free to use it at your taste, discretion, whatever makes you happy. Put some salt. I know that seems like a lot, but this is kind of going to be a double batch. So I just want to make sure that very well seasoned. Delicious. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tomatoes and just add it on in. Now this is going to be pretty full at first, but just remember that tomatoes are mostly water. So this is actually going to reduce down a lot. So don't worry about it, and then feel free to go ahead and add your herbs of choice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this come to a boil. And then once it comes up to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and bring it down to a simmer. And it's going to simmer for 2 to 3 hours. So if you're planning on making this for dinner, you want to go ahead and start pretty early in the morning, or you can use it for dinner the next day. Just make sure you cool it completely before you stick it in the fridge. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this come to a boil, and then it's going to go down to a simmer and simmer for 2 to 3 hours, and I'll see you then. Alrighty guys, 3 hours later, we are finally back. So this is what it looks like when it's reduced enough. As you can see, it started up way up here. It started up way up here, and now it's all the way down there. I did add a little bit of flour to thicken it, so you just add some flour a little bit at a time and just whisk it in. You can use flour, you can use cornstarch, you can use arrowroot powder if you want something gluten-free. Whatever you want to use as a thickening agent to go ahead and thicken it up. But this is what it looks like when it's done. It's delicious. I've tried it and it's just, look at that. It's delicious. I'm very excited. So then yeah, I'm just gonna wait till this cools down, and then I'm gonna put it into some cans. So when it comes to storing the pasta sauce, you can keep it in the fridge for up to a few days, or you can keep it in the freezer for up to 3 months. I would recommend, or you can can it. If you're into canning, you can go ahead and do it that way too. But you could put it in a Ziploc bag or tempered glass, however you store things in the freezer, either one. Just be aware that when you do thaw it out from freezing, it does tend to be a little bit thicker, so you can add some more tomato sauce or some more water just to go ahead and loosen it up a little bit. But other than that, it freezes perfectly fine, and I'm very excited to use this for dinner tomorrow night. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you liked videos like this, and I can try to do some more, you know, cook with me with you guys, because it was kind of fun to play with all the angles and stuff like that. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.